What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Corpus Christi Originals podcast. I'm Jesus Hernandez, episode 105 tonight. I've got Luis Buentello. He's running for Congress in TX-34, same seat we talked about last episode. Born in Mexico, became a citizen, spent 12 years working in Congress for Blake Farenthold and Michael Cloud. He now wants the job for himself. Same format as always, one-on-one real questions about this city. Let's get into it. How you doing?
All right. Hey, man, thank you for having me here. This is great.
Yeah, awesome. I seen your episode with one of the guys from the Valley,
James Rock and Roll.
yeah,
Rock
with the
and Roll
glasses
James.
and everything,
Yeah,
the
he's a
American
great-
flag right behind you. It was cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I really liked him. Would love the 80s music. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
very knowledgeable in music, man. I was impressed with him.
Did y'all grow up? Did you grow up in the '80s or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No kidding?
yeah.
Right on. I was born in the '80s, so different time for me.
That's the best music, man. 80s.
okay,
We're
okay.
54, yeah. So 80s is for me the best music.
Hey, right
Or
on. That's
something
cool.
else.
That's cool, man. Yeah. So you're born in Mexico. So when did you come to the United States?
Well, I used to come when I was a little kid. We had relatives in Brownsville. My dad's family. My dad was born in Matamoros, so eventually people move along the border. My dad was born 1912, so like a long time ago.
Definitely.
And we used to visit our families, my aunts, quite often. So we came a lot growing up. But then I came as a foreign student many decades ago as well. And that's where I learned English. My first year was ESL.
ESL.
That was,
Ooh.
yeah, English as a second language. And then I continued with sophomore, junior, senior year at a school in Harlingen. I spent 4 years, and then I went for a year to Texas A&I.
Oh, nice.
Kingsville, when it was A&I back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were, how old were you?
I heard that name A&I,
A&I.
and it might have been A&I. I'm 43,
Okay.
so it might have been A&I like when I was like 10 or 15 or something like that, and then
Probably.
just recently changed.
Yes. Yeah, I think it changed in 94 to A&M.
Hey,
Kingsville.
right on. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an alum from A&M Corpus Christi.
All right. I took my last 5 classes there.
No kidding.
I started in UTB, again,
UT Brownsville.
UT Brownsville.
Nice.
And now it changed by the time I got my certificate. It was UTRGV. I'm like, I never went to UTRGV. It was UTB when I spent my online
What was your degree in?
government.
Government. Oh, no kidding. What political science or something?
Well, yeah, A&M calls it political science. I do UT calls it government.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So, what was the process like becoming a citizen for you?
Oh, that was a long process. We got married. My process was through marriage. We got married and we applied. It's a process. It is at the time my one of my cousins, related to my blood through my dad's side of the family, he was working for immigration at the time, and he told me don't ever use a lawyer. You can fill the forms.
Wow.
You're gonna spend a lot of money on the forms. Don't do that. Fill them out. That's it. You can do it. So I did that, and you start with the I-130, which is the petition to petition for someone to adjust status, and then you gotta justify the reason why you're adjusting. There's criteria. So do you meet that criteria? Yeah. So it's through marriage. This is our marriage certificate, and that goes through a process.
Wow.
And then once approved, then they send a notice. Okay, yes, we can approve. You can petition for your husband now that we verify that yes, everything is it's according and it's valid. So then you can petition for your husband. Then you go to a different form, which is the I-435.
Wow.
And that starts a process. And this is, oh man, we started the process early in late 2004, early 2005. And this is post 9/11. So background investigation are taking forever. And it seems like my file was misplaced. I don't know what happened because it took like 5 years.
Wow.
And I had friends from our church in Brownsville who got married within 6 months. Hey, I became a resident. I'm like,
Okay.
what's going on? Like, yeah, something, file
Oh
was
man,
misplaced or something.
how were we? Wow, what were you thinking? Oh my gosh,
But yeah,
I can't imagine.
it was a mess. It was a mess. I don't know. And I used at the time who was the Congressman Solomon Ortiz. I went to his office and they did inquiries into my application, but nothing.
When you hear people say just come legally, what do you want them to understand
No,
about what it
there's
actually
a
looks like?
process. This is something that people need to understand about the U.S. Legally, we admit 1 million people by law. By law, we have numbers that we have to admit legally in our states, and that's immigrant visas.
Wow.
Not visitors, not students, no immigrant visas. People who are immigrating into the U.S. There's 1 million a year. But if you have, and that's a problem, and I think that's one of the things that needs to change, because if you only allow 1 million and you have 2 million applicants a year,
Oh,
so you already delayed 1 year because you only take the first million, and then next year you're gonna take the million that already applied the previous year, and then that new year another 2-3 million apply.
shoot.
So that's why some applications take, depending on the preference, because there are different preferences. Through marriage through a U.S. citizen, your visa is automatic. But when you married someone, let's say you married a U.S. A legal resident,
okay.
that's a different preference. If your relative is petitioning for you, that's a different preference. And if there is underage, above 21, so there are different preferences.
Wow.
And then there's job, through your job, that's a total different separate classification that they have in it. But so that's the thing, if you have so many applications a year, but you still haven't changed the number of applicants that you can admit every year, that's why the process takes so long.
Oh, wow.
For a lot of people. And my wife had a relative who her uncle petitioned for her sister, but she was already above 21. It took 21 years before her visa became available, because whenever you apply for the 485, they give you a priority date. That's the day they receive the application. And her application was received, I think, October 1997. But it was until early 2020, 21 when they were working on applications received in October 1997. That's when she got a letter. Okay, now your visa is available. I'm like, and then you go through the process, the interview and all of that. But in the meantime, you're just waiting.
Oh, smokes.
No, it's something has to change in that aspect, because it takes a long time.
Is that something that you'll be dealing with when if elected?
It all depends. A lot of that depends on what committee you get put into. There's a committee in Congress that selects, okay, all these new members that are coming, the new class. So where are we going to assign them? And you have some say on where you want to be, but they also look at your district. What do you have in your district? It has to make sense for them as well as it has to make sense for you. If you ask me what committees would I like to be in, one of them is Armed Services Committee. That's a big one because we have 2 military bases in our district. One here in Corpus Christi, one in Kingsville. Transportation is a big one. We have the Port of Brownsville. We have the port here in Corpus Christi, even though the port is outside of the district, but still, it's in Corpus Christi. Transportation is a big one. Homeland Security, I'm at the border. It just depends on that. Of course, appropriations, that's an A committee. And the thing about when you have an A committee, you can only serve on an A committee. You cannot serve on different committees.
Oh, wow.
Because the load is a lot. You can ask for a dispensation and they probably allow you to join a different committee, and it happens a lot, but you have to ask for that. It's just not given. Usually you only have, if you have an A committee, you stay on that A committee.
Wow, interesting. So you went to UT Brownsville. What brought you there?
My wife and I were living in Brownsville at the time.
Okay. So is that the only university out there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, they have a community college. Texas Southmost College.
Okay.
And they used to be together, but I think they separate. They were trying to merge, but they separated, and they weren't able to merge another two different entities.
Yeah.
Texas Alamo College is one, just like Belmar College, and then they have UTRGV. UTB merged with Pan American, UT Pan
Oh, yeah.
American in where is it, in Edinburgh. So now it's UTRGV.
Yeah. So you have two children. Are you
Two girls.
Two girls, right?
11 and
they're
13.
okay.
Yeah.
What does it look like as far as talking to them about college? Have you started talking to them?
We
about?
were recently talking with my oldest the other day. I cannot tell them what they want to do. It's their interest, their passion, and I think for everybody, what's your passion? What do you like to do? Something that comes out of your heart, do it. And she's been talking about that. We had a conversation a few nights ago about her interest, and of course my wife's an Aggie,
Oh, cool.
and we took him in 2024. What was it? October 2024. We took him to a game against
Nice.
LSU.
Oh, wow.
Man, they drank that Kool-Aid. And
Oh,
that
my
day, it
God.
was like, wow, I want to come here.
Yeah.
It's an experience. I never
Yeah.
experienced something like that. I love A&M. It was a really great experience. Everywhere you hear, everybody's like, what the heck? Like, yeah, but that's part of the traditions that they have there.
Yeah. So you lived there for how long have you lived in this area?
Here, I moved here in 2013, at the beginning of 2013. That's
Okay.
when I started with Blake, we had the district that looks like 34 now, from Nueces all the way to Brownsville, which
Okay.
Solomon Ortiz had. And then 2012, there was redistricting in 2011, and then it went through the courts because there were some lawsuits against it, but then it got approved, so it moved forward. So then it took effect in 2013. So they pushed the district north from Nueces north instead of Nueces south.
Okay.
So Blake, I think from the team in Brownsville, he only asked me to come to Corpus Christi, and so I moved to Corpus.
Wow.
In 2013, and I've been here ever since.
Nice. So you worked in the TX-27
Yes.
representatives.
Yep.
Why 34 now? Why TX-34?
Well, they changed the maps again. The legislature
Okay,
changed the map.
So you were already here in Corpus.
Oh,
and-
yeah. I was already here. I've been here since 2013.
Okay. So the
The map was changed in December.
That's what it is. Okay, so that's
Summer.
why you're doing 34 now because
Yes.
you're here. Okay.
And they had asked me in the past, when I left Congress in 2022, December 16, 2022, I think the next year someone asked me, we want you to run against Michael. I'm like, I can't.
Oh, wow.
Why not? We don't want him anymore. Like, yeah, but he's my former boss. I'm not going to run against him.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Like, that's not good optics. I'm sorry. And I'm not your guy for that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I think Michael is doing a good job. He's a strong believer as well, so, he's a good friend.
Yeah, so you lived in both areas.
Oh, yeah.
So you
Yes.
kind of know what's going on in both places.
Yeah. Brownsville, I went to Kingsville for 1 year, and I've been here 13. So, yeah.
Wow, amazing. Oh, yeah. So that's so you know the area. You went to school here, but also 12 years in Congress. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Those years. What did you actually? You spent 12 years working in Congress. What does a senior field representative actually do?
So first I started as a caseworker with Blake. And the caseworker, what they do, a lot of the things that a congressional district office, you deal a lot with the constituents. They come with issues. Just as I went over to Congressman Ortiz with my issue with immigration, like it's taking forever. What's going on? There's a lot of issues that
Wow.
at the federal level. So I would meet with people. Hey, I have an issue with immigration, or I have an issue with Social Security, or I have an issue with Medicare. All these things, passports. It's just incredible the amount of traffic that you get in that congressional office with people that have regular lives dealing with the federal bureaucracy. It's insane. It's so you're a red tape cutter. That's what basically you are. So I did that for the first 2 years in Brownsville. When I came to Corpus, I kept doing it, and then I got promoted to field rep with Blake.
Wow.
And it field rep is a little bit different. You're not at the office. Your job is to be outside, just talking to people,
Talking to people.
getting a feel of the community. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? And report it back to the congressman. So whenever he's making decisions in DC based on the knowledge that he has of the area. So that's what I did with Blake. By the time Blake retired or resigned in April 2018, I was district director. And then he resigned Friday the 6th, I think, 2018. And then we became part of CAO, the Chief Administrative Office of Congress. It is a nonpartisan office. So we had no representation, but we still provided services to constituents. But we couldn't attend any political event at all.
Provided services.
Meaning you stay at the office.
Okay.
And people come.
Take phone calls, whatever.
Take phone calls, issues with like regular issues
Regular
with, you name it, immigration, BA cases.
Was there ever a point like where somebody had something similar to your situation and you were talking to them?
Oh man,
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
remember, but I know I did help a lot of people because a lot of people have no knowledge what the process looks like. And I applied for this form, but it got denied. Well, you apply for the second form. You need to first apply and get the I-130. You know, there's a systematic.
Yeah. So can you give me a specific example of cutting through red tape for someone in this district?
So a lot of, like, let's say VA, you know, I don't know how it is in other states or other parts of the country or parts of Texas, but a lot of people, they said that the Houston VA, it was, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. The VA has two parts. When you refer to the VA, what are you referring to, the medical side or the benefits side? So you got to understand what is the constituent asking for. A lot of them are benefits. You know, hey, I apply for my disability. It's taking forever. All right, let me reach out to you need to sign a privacy release form. You get their information, they sign it, and then you send it to the VA. Hey, this constituent came to our office. This is his claim. He applied for this disability or percentage on his disability. What's the status of it? And then the VA will reply to you and give you an answer of where the status of that application is. It's just pushing things, bringing it to the attention of someone, and instead of just a bunch of paperwork and it just gets there.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, wow. Man, so how come you decided to, like, I guess you have to come from a place of understanding to wanting to help people, for one.
Oh yeah, to me that was one of the things that I wanted. Man, I just want to make a difference in people's lives, a positive difference in people's lives, and it was through my work. Like, I couldn't solve every single issue because there's issues that you cannot solve.
Wow.
And that I remember one case that I had in Brownsville with a specific person who had an issue with a passport. The person wanted to get the passport and apply for that passport. And when they were going through the process, the passport agency called me. The person that you're talking to cannot get a passport. And the reason is this. When that person was a baby, they crossed the border, because a lot of the issues that you find in the border is they were born through midwives, and some were illicit documents. People bought him. Instead of really being born and then here's your birth certificate, some people paid for him and got him. So there were some midwives that were, government knew, okay, these people are selling fraudulent documents. So whenever they had received a document from, we have that name of this on our list, that she's blacklisted. So there's some more paperwork that you need to provide to make sure it matches everything. And in this specific case, that person came when that person was a baby, and they were crossing the border, the port of entry, and then the officers are like, I don't know, secondary interrogation. And the mother of this person confessed, well, yeah, my husband bought the birth certificate. So there's a record on that in their system. And then they call me and they tell me this, and they said, you cannot tell this to this person. And I couldn't because, And that person, the person that called me, what's her name? I forgot her name. The person that called me, she was very clear, Luis. But honestly, you cannot tell him. That happened many decades ago, and now this person being an adult, that person had no idea what the mom had done.
Do you think there's anything like that's maybe broken in Congress that most people don't see?
There's a lot of things broken in Congress.
And that's normal to government. I mean, not normal, but
It shouldn't be normal. Honestly,
Okay.
it shouldn't be normal. A lot of it, what you see, and I had conversations with Congressman Cloud a lot about this, where you see on TV and they're fighting and attacking each other, members of Congress,
right.
and then once C-SPAN and the TVs are off, hey man, sorry dude, but they do that
Wow.
a lot.
No way.
They do that a lot. Like, man, I'm sorry that personal attack, but my people, my base is asking me, and
Oh,
they want pressure on this, but nothing personal. But on TV, that's what it
Wow.
appears, and that's not right. A different thing that I see. There's no more. Back in the day, there used to be men with character, people with character that would always do what's right. Do the right thing, not just what's best for you or for your party. And that's what has changed a lot in our politics. When I came to this country as a foreign student, I fell in love with the values and ideals. But the last 20, 25 years, man, I don't know what's happening. Everybody's pushing for their side, and it's not about our country, it's about their party, who's in power, how do we remain in power. So there's a lot that needs to change, but a lot of it goes back to the heart. People have complained about, Luis has a heavy accent. I don't think he has a path for victory. I'm like, yeah, speech might not be my forte, but hey, coaching, the practice, you get better. But the heart, you don't change that easily. That takes time. If you don't have the integrity to do what's right, how do you change that? Either you have it or not. But I've seen that the people have been sent to Congress with the wrong character, there's no integrity, and you see all of a sudden these people that became super wealthy because insider trading, and and they don't think twice. They just, oh yeah, I have the chance, why not? I'm like, yeah, but is it right? No, it's not right.
Lito says we need Luis in office. On
Lito,
YouTube. What's up, Lito?
love you, brother.
Yeah, good job at the show the other day, man. Comedy show, he was there.
I
Yeah,
want to be there on your show on the 14th. Looking forward to that.
You better kill it, bro. So so you basically know what's going on. What would you do differently if you were the one in that seat?
Look, I'm your worst liar. If I do something that is not right, you will see it in my face.
Oh, wow.
I cannot hide it, man.
Is that true?
Oh yeah. Hey, they're calling you.
Is that true?
What? Oh,
Is that true that he's a bad liar?
he is.
You see it in my face, man. I'm like, I cannot hide it, and to me, it is the Holy Spirit. When you feel like, oh man, I don't think that's right.
yeah.
It is the Holy Spirit talking. Hey, watch out. There's a reason, and I experienced that with the Holy Spirit so many times. Where like, let me do it. I was like, oh, dang it, I will regret it. It's the Holy Spirit telling you, stop, don't do it.
Yo, talking about that, so reading the Bible, do verses ever come to your mind, like when you're in those situations, like, oh, I remember reading this. This is what the word says about this situation. And
I think to me, the one that always like honor God in everything you do.
Yeah.
Because we're a reflection of Him in a way, or at least we're supposed to reflect Him. But we usually fall short. We're humans. Our humanity kicks in.
Sure. Yeah. So the Farenthold questions. Obviously, we got to bring. So you worked with Blake Farenthold.
Yes.
What was that experience like? You mentioned he was a godly, or a
Cloud is, and Blake
Cloud
too.
okay.
I know Blake and his family attended a church here. My goodness, Blake, he was. I can only experience what my experience, what I saw, what I experienced with him. He was a great guy, funny guy, and extremely smart, very intelligent. You could talk any topic, and he will give you an answer. I'm like,
crazy.
How do you know that? I just know. But that's in our government, in high levels of government, that's what you will find. People know. He said a mile wide, 1 inch deep. So we have knowledge of a lot of things, but not. We don't get into the weeds. We just know enough to engage in a conversation. Then the more intricate stuff, okay, let me research on that, and I'll get back to you. And they would.
Yeah.
But that was the thing about Blake, man. He knew. Oh my goodness, because I was with him at different meetings and out of in our community, and they would ask Blake, "Hey, Blake, what about this?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah," and then blah, 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 like, I'm like, "Why is that?" I didn't know, but
Yeah.
he knew it, and he was well versed. I was very impressed with him because he knew a lot of things.
Yeah. So obviously allegations came up and stuff. Were you surprised, or like, what were your? Did you have any initial thoughts? Do you have any initial thoughts about that?
Was I surprised? Of course. Like that's not Blake, and I think I read a lot of that, but what my understanding and really I don't know much about it. My understanding of that, they came with an initial amount because they wanted to settle immediately, and they're like, I'm Blake, I don't want to settle. I didn't do anything, and the problem with that happened with Blake. Whenever he got the lawsuit, it was to the office of Congressman Blake Farenthold, and so he called his lawyer, and then the lawyer came, and they're talking, and the House counsel comes along. And then they ask, who's this guy? Oh, he's my lawyer. He's going to represent me. No, he's not. I'm like, excuse me, he's my lawyer. Like, the lawsuit is against the office of, not Blake Farenthold, two different things. When it's the office of, we as counsel represent you. I'm like, and he like, but I don't know you guys. Like, but that's how it is.
Whoa.
And to my understanding that, for them, it's how do we save money to the taxpayers? And they said, okay, if we settle, we can pay the settlement that they're asking. But if we go to court, it's going to cost $1 million. That's a lot of money from taxpayers. And when they told him, we're going to settle. Oh no, I don't want to settle. Oh, we're not asking you. I'm telling you, we're going to settle.
Yeah.
And Blake, wait a minute, my reputation's at stake. Doesn't matter to us. Our job is to save taxpayers money. And that's the fastest way to do it. So we're settling.
So he promised to pay a sum of amount back, or something like that.
I don't know,
Okay.
but that's the thing. It was not Blake Farenthold defending
Right.
himself.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
House counsel. So I don't know. I don't know the details of
Yeah,
the
no,
whole thing.
totally.
Just from what I heard from different people. I know that there were some agreements with Blake. He couldn't say anything. He didn't say anything at all.
Yeah.
That was kept confidential.
What did you learn? Did you learn anything from that when that situation was unfolding? That maybe
Oh man,
take with
that's
you,
that's a great question. I don't know. Some people, it's hard to understand why people do what they do. What is the motives of the lawsuit? Why do you just want money, or what is it?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, I looked on Wikipedia and it said that you were a lobbyist. Is
No,
that
that's-
accurate?
That's very inaccurate. I don't know. Maybe that's a different Luis Buentello. I don't know.
Maybe lobby your daughter. Hey, I'll give you a couple
Oh,
dollars.
no.
Help mom out.
No.
So you worked with Cheniere Energy,
Yes.
biggest LNG one of the biggest companies in the country for LNG. How would voters know you're working for them and not you're not employed with them, right?
Oh no. I had to resign before announcing that I was running for Congress.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they told me that if I decided to announce or run, it would be a conflict of interest. So I had to wait until I was out in order for me to announce.
Wow.
I could say I'm thinking about it. I haven't made a decision, and that's what I did. That's how I handled it, because that was my commitment to Cheniere, that I was not going to announce until I was officially out.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So you had made that. You had that decision seems hard to me
Oh,
because
trust me,
you got a family.
It was hard.
Yeah. What was that like? I mean,
It was
prayer.
It was
like-
a lot of prayer. Honestly, it was a lot of prayer. When the process with them, when I talked to my VP at the time, he said, "Well, he's asking me because I'm supposed to be informed of what's happening in our communities." And then we heard rumors about 34. So, okay, Luis, so who's running for Congress in that new district? And I just put a big smile. I'm like, okay, tell me, I know you know who's running. Maya running, right? Like, yeah, I think she's gonna jump in and all of that. I'm like, okay, so what's up with that smile? Who else? And I said, well, I'm thinking about jumping in there too. I'm like, what? He said, I'm thinking about jumping, so I want to see what does that look for Cheniere. Can I take a leave of absence?
Oh, wow.
What does that look like? And he said, man, Luis, I have no idea. We never had anybody from Cheniere run for office. Let me have conversations with HR, legal, ethics, and get an answer for you. So it took about a month or so. And then he came back and he told me, okay, so we finally have a final decision for you. If you decide to run, you have to resign.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, excuse me? He said, yeah. So when I talked to my wife, hey, I was coming back from work and I said, hey, we got to sit down and talk. And we did. And I said, so this is what Cheniere said. And my wife says, thinking, okay, it's easy. She's going to say, well, keep your job, she homeschooled, we homeschool, so
yeah,
she stays home with our daughters. And now so I thought, okay, it's gonna be an easy answer. Don't run, keep your job, okay. And then she looks at me and said, well, baby, I think I have peace from God that you should run for office. I was like, oh, no, don't tell me that. Not what I wanted to hear. I wanted the easy way out. Honestly, I wanted the easy way out.
Wow.
And it took weeks of prayer. First direction, give me clear direction, Lord. I want to know that you're behind me in this. When he finally did, I said, okay, now give me the courage to make that decision.
Oh,
because it was hard. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of weeks of prayer. And finally, okay, let me write my letter of resignation.
When you told me you worked there, I thought you were like an engineer.
Oh, no.
And so, do you want to discuss maybe what you did there? Or?
Yeah. I was a local government and community affairs. So, kind of what I was doing for Blake and Michael.
Okay.
Engage with our communities, with our nonprofits, understanding what's happening, what are the issues, concerns, talking with all our elected officials, talking with community leaders, and just engaging with our community.
Yeah, being in that conversation. Yeah, for sure. Man, that's awesome. So I got some questions from the community from my platform.
Yeah.
Joaquin, he couldn't be here. He said he wanted to watch it, but the Super Bowl's going on or whatever.
Oh.
Which I don't watch football.
I don't anymore.
So it's cool that you're here at this time.
Oh, yeah.
You're here with me. So what are your plans for legislation to help secure water for the people of District 34?
I think the legislation that I like to pass is just to bring funding for it, but have the federal government away from it. We just provide the funding, let the state and the local communities and local entities work on that.
Okay.
You don't want the federal government involved.
You don't want them involved?
No, just give some funding, help them, but stay out of it.
Stay out of it. Wow.
Yes.
Specifically at the federal level, what would you fight for regarding that issue?
The water, the Bureau of Reclamation, you can find some funding for it. The only thing that I think you want the federal government involved is in the funding. Get some funding so the state of Texas, Nueces County, and the city of Corpus Christi can work on something for our communities.
Yeah, for sure.
But don't involve the federal government to be part of everything, because then it's just a mess.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Leave it local. I don't see people. People in DC dictating how it should be done. Like, you don't live here, you don't understand the dynamics, you don't understand where things are, how far they are, and all of it that comes involved. And I don't like the fact that DC wants to involve in things where they don't even live. Like, give us the funding, let the local communities, let the state of Texas. But the most important thing of it is collaboration. You have to work together, because if you don't have that collaboration, it's not going to go anywhere.
Oh, for sure. It reminds me of that story. I think I don't know where it's at, but Jethro, Moses' stepdad or something like that. He tells him you need to delegate.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It reminds me of that.
Yes.
Instead of just one trying to do
He had 70 people to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
That's where the Sanhedrins come from. That 70 people. Yep.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
So being that you live here in Corpus, would you have voted against or for the desal plant, or have any alternatives for that?
No, I think the desal plant is a good idea. To me, I don't want to speculate on anything. Hypotheticals. I don't get in that. But to me, who are the experts on diesel?
Right.
It's not San Diego, California. You gotta go either to Saudi Arabia, Israel, where they've been doing diesel plants for years. Saudi Arabia has no rivers going through their country.
Wow.
So they need to get somehow.
They need to figure that out.
So they've been doing that for many, many, many years. So they have an expertise in that. Go talk to them. Hey, how do you guys do it? What works? What doesn't work? Let's not just try it out. You gotta really just do it and do it very well, because there's not a second chance. Because then you spend money on something that later on is like, oh man, we're having troubles. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and me as a taxpayer here in Corpus, it's like, dude, that's our money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly. It is our money.
Yeah. So I guess we move into bipartisan work from another topic. Are you willing to work on issues in a bipartisan manner? I don't even know what that means, but Joaquin was asking that question.
Yeah. So look, something that I learned from Blake, and that was such a great idea from Blake, and he did it a lot. Anytime that he wanted to introduce a bill, he would go to Philemon Vela.
Okay.
Or Henry Cuellar.
Okay.
Hey man, can we sponsor this bill?
Gotcha.
Can we co-sponsor this bill? And I think that's a great way to start, because hey, I have these ideas. What ideas can you bring, and together make it out there? Thousands of bills are presented every year in Congress, thousands, and not all the bills pass. Very few. It's by design, of course. Everybody's going to present their things, but when you have a partisan aspect of things where you can work with them, because that's what Blake did.
Yeah.
And I think he passed his first bill as a freshman member of Congress, which is very rare, I think.
Wow.
As a freshman, you're still learning. You don't have any leverage whatsoever.
Wow.
And that's what people don't understand, that they want, I've seen so many races where people scream, oh man, I want to go tell them how they need to vote. I'm like, oh man, like, you don't understand the system.
Yeah.
You have no leverage whatsoever. You are at the bottom of the totem pole. You got to build first relationships with people. That's what you need to start doing at your first year, trying to see how things operate, who are the players, build those relationships, and to be effective.
Yeah.
When you think you're gonna go tell them what they need to do,
Oh yeah.
that's not gonna work. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. It reminds me of even at my job or something like that. You get a new boss coming in, everything changes, or for whatever reason they decide to change it, and everybody's
I think it
what I mean?
happens in a lot of places. I remember, from stories that I read in Vietnam War. You had that West Point officers that came into the field. Like, all right, recently graduates from West Point, and people like, oh man, new officer from West Point.
Yeah.
You know what he would do, and that's great leadership. Hey, Sergeant, what do you think we should do? Because he's brand new. The sergeant has been there for a long time in the field. Show me the ropes, because I don't know it.
Right.
Yes, I have the rank, but I don't have the knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
And it takes, you're going to be humble.
Yep.
You have to be humble.
That's a good point. I was thinking that too, definitely. In my experience, I got my CDL
Okay.
through Del Mar, and they teach you basic stuff. When I got into the actual job, hey, how do you do this? Which route do you take?
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have,
But you have to be humble and accept and even right now, I don't know it all. I need to ask questions. I do not know it all.
Yeah. Nice.
And you might ask me a question, I'm like, oh man, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
I'm not afraid to say that, because it's true. I'm not gonna say something that is inaccurate just to pretend that, oh yes, I know it all. I know that's not me.
Well, that's part of what God teaches too. Like I believe, pride before the fall. That
Proverbs 16:18.
Proverbs. Yep. Definitely.
Pride comes before the fall. Always.
Yeah. So, give me an example of an issue you'd work with Democrats on.
Well, in Congress, I worked the district.
Okay.
I didn't work in Washington, and so over here, I knew a lot of people that came to our office that I knew they were not Republicans, but it doesn't matter because when they come to the office, you're representing everybody.
Right.
You don't ask questions. So, hey, are you what party do you
Right.
support? Like, no, you don't. You don't do that.
Yeah.
The bipartisan thing is in Washington D.C. That's where you work a lot of that. Over here, just helping the people, helping your community. Regardless of what party they or ideology or anything like that. No.
Yeah.
That's not me.
That's interesting.
And to me, it's how can we make a difference? How can we leave this place better?
Yeah, right on. What are the top 3 issues you want to address if elected?
Oh man, there's more than 3. But honestly, one of the things I love to see a change, and I don't think it is going to need legislation at all. But one of the things that I'm passionate about is how we do politics. I don't know if you've been following my page or my campaign, but I'm not running any negative campaign at all against anybody. And since the very beginning, people said, "Oh, I have dirt on this." Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I'm not gonna use it. And people send me information about all these other candidates. Like, I'm not gonna use it because it's a disservice to our country.
Right.
There would be great people out there that would be fantastic members of Congress that we as a country would benefit. They just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Why expose myself and my family to the nastiness how it is now?
Exactly.
I want to change that.
How do you find because obviously it's tempting. How do you find yourself? How do you find yourself being like?
It goes back to character. Because I got an information about some of the candidates in the race. I'm like, oh, this can benefit. Use it against them. Like, no. To me, there's no honor in that. Honestly, why am I going to put someone down just to make myself look good? That's not what I do, and that's what I've been telling people. Look at the character of the person. Look at the integrity, because that's what we need. That's what matters. And I'm just going to say it. And I've said it in the past, and I told him, my opponents, they've been placing signs all over. Have they asked the owners, hey, can I place a sign in your property?
Wow.
They haven't.
Yo.
I'm pretty sure they have in some cases.
Right.
But, one of them put a sign on the property of our church that I go to in Rock City without asking.
Wow.
And to me,
didn't even think about stuff
man,
like that.
if you don't do what's right in the little things, that just gives you a glimpse of how they're going to behave if they get elected in Washington, D.C. when things that are lucrative for them in a way, and you see it with insider trading. All of a sudden, they just became millionaires. I'm like, how did that happen? You only make $174,000 a year. But it's character. Because if they don't do what's right in the little things, that just gives you a glimpse of what's happening or what's going to happen or what could happen. I'm not saying that it will happen, but it just you can see that pattern.
Yeah, for sure.
It's integrity.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, you guys, for listening on the live stream. Lito Cortez on YouTube. Anybody else on Facebook, thanks a lot for listening. I wanted to plug, I got a merch store, CorpusChristiOriginals.com. Support the podcast, you guys. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to CorpusChristiComedy.com. I just had an interview with Bobby Pena III over there. If you want to see what's going on with comedy and stuff like that, check out their page, CorpusChristiComedy.com. Check them out. So how politics is done, right? That you would choose that. Why would you choose that over everything else?
Well, no, it's just one of them. Honestly, there's a lot of things that, our spending is out of control. We need to cut our spending. For years, they haven't passed the 12 appropriation bills that they're supposed to be passing. And they haven't done any, man, I don't even know when was the last time, 2009, I think.
Oh, wow.
It's always a CR, continuing resolution. Let's use what we used last year.
Wow.
I'm like, really, don't be lazy. Let's really get on the issues and pass those 12 appropriation bills. And honestly, I think we should have a balanced budget. But there's no law for that. But why don't we pass a law like Texas? They need to have a balanced budget. How can we not do that in our country?
Wow.
Because we get as a revenue, we get about $4.9 trillion a year, but we spend 6.8.
Whoa.
Oh, wait a minute. How does
Doesn't
that make
add up.
sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Why are we at $38 trillion in debt?
Yep.
It does not make sense.
Wow. So there's
Something needs to be done.
Okay, gotcha.
Something needs to be done, honestly. That spending is out of control.
Yeah, so we're talking about DEI and special needs. Given the state's attack on DEI, how do you plan to ensure that nonprofits centered around diversity, equity, and inclusion of special needs children are able to keep their doors open and help the community.
And that's great. And I had a great experience with there's a organization in town that helps people with disabilities. You know, they're in school system helps you through the process. You know, special needs children, but once they're 18, you're out.
Oh, shoot.
And then what? They still have disabilities. Who's addressing that? No one. That goes back to the family. And Dr. Jennifer, she's fantastic, and I got to meet them when I was a Cheniere, and we made an investment with them, you know, for equipment, for a sensory room, and I think more needs to be done because, you know, these needs don't go away when they turn 18.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lifetime that goes with them.
Do you think that contributes to the like homelessness and stuff like that? Because it seems like a lot of homeless people that I've talked to, they seem like there's, I don't know, mental issues, I guess you can say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could be that, but you know, a lot of homeless also drugs, man.
Yeah.
Drugs
Okay. Yeah.
influence a lot on.
Yeah.
It just messes with the people, man.
Yeah,
And that needs to change. We need to stop what's coming through the border. That's extremely important because it just poison our people in our country.
Oh.
Fentanyl, all those drugs that come, you know, cocaine, marijuana, they just poison our children.
We'll talk about, definitely we'll get to that. So moving into the local knowledge, Corpus Christi, we just talked about a little bit about the water situation, reservoirs at 10%. Desalinization got canceled. It ballooned from 160 million to 1.2 billion.
Yeah. So that was, to my understanding, that it was on the works a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago. But then there were two entities wanting recognition or getting the credit, and they never came to an agreement, and it never got done. And that's the problem. You know, you have to collaborate. Who cares who gets the credit? It's not about the credit. It's about the people.
Yeah.
And that's what some people, you know, that didn't get done because of that. That's what I was told. You know, I'm not going to get into that, but that happens.
Yeah, for sure.
It happens in Congress.
So is it like a failure of leadership? Like what could be the issue there? You know, I mean, it's just like, I always try to figure out like, why is this happening? You know, just think like maybe this could happen, but we're also not in those seats either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of, I guess.
So this is the thing about a lot of decisions that happen at different levels of government, local, state, federal. They're making decisions with the information they have at the time. And sometimes we're not privy to that information. Especially in Congress, there's information that they have that, oh man, we need to do something about it. And they make the decision and they're like, wait a minute, why are you making that? Hold on. Like, because that's information you don't have that we cannot tell you, but we had to make the decision because of that information that you have no idea.
Well, it makes me think about like deadlines too. Like, is there like deadlines, or you need to do it by this day, or do they set the deadlines themselves? Do you know?
So the only deadline that the Congress has, you know, every 2 years there's a new Congress. So all bills, if they don't get passed by the end of that Congress, they're dead.
They're gone.
They're dead. So the new Congress starts. All right, new bill. You know, so that's the only deadline Congress has, but they put it based on their priorities, on what they want to push, depending who's in power. If that Congress isn't the same as the White House, you know, there's a lot of variables that play part.
No.
You know.
Yeah. So regarding the water, ExxonMobil supervisors are saying that their transfers sell their houses, refineries threatening to leave. Port supports 76,000 jobs. What do you tell them? I mean, you being like working at Cheniere and stuff like that, I'm thinking like, would refineries like leave if there's no water, or you know what I mean? And then what would happen to the economy in that case? You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, would there be a possibility if we run out of water? Those companies, they gotta produce. If they don't have the water to
Right.
operate the way they should, they're gonna have to close their doors.
makes
And
sense.
is there gonna be an impact here? You better believe it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You better believe it.
Yeah, I myself work in those. Go into those.
And to that, Cheniere, they hardly use any water. They
No kidding.
they don't. We are getting rid of water from our systems.
What?
Yeah, because in
Really?
order to when you bring natural gas and you want to liquefy it, you gotta put it through a system to negative 260 degrees.
Okay.
So
It's gotta freeze.
Yes, but it's gas. That temperature doesn't freeze; it becomes liquid. But if you have humidity, you have water, that will freeze, and then it clogs the system.
Okay.
And they don't want that, so they get rid of any humidity, any water from the system.
Oh wow.
So we don't use water in our system. We don't have like the refiners. They need a lot of water to
Cooling towers. and
to cooling
stuff
tower.
like
We don't need any of that.
Oh wow. Is that wow? So that's more innovative, I guess.
It's
compared
just
to-
we have a different product. The nature of LNG is different than crude oil, and how you break it apart and how you take molecules, and it's just different processes. We only have one single thing, which is natural gas,
Yeah.
and our job is to put it to minus 260 degrees, get rid of heavy metals and any water or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So you just natural gas, and then cool it down to minus 260, and then becomes liquid.
Nice. So awesome. Yeah, I work very closely with like propane and butane and stuff like that. I've actually been into that plant over there a couple times with my job.
Oh,
I think it was propylene, or we loaded something. I can't remember what it was. But nice plant, nice place.
It is great.
Yeah, we're moving to. We had a question from another viewer talking about beach access. SpaceX controlling beach access in Cameron County.
Yeah.
Locals can't get to the beach. What's your position?
no, I to my understanding, this is the beauty about Texas. You have access to the beach at all times.
Yeah.
With SpaceX in Boca Chica, my understanding is they only close the access when they're having a launch because of safety reasons.
Of course.
If something goes wrong, they don't want people around. So once there's nothing on the schedule for a launch, people are free to go and come and go. Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah. So SpaceX is working with the county down
Oh
there
yeah,
as far as that
definitely,
stuff goes.
definitely. Because I have a friend who owned a house on the beach in Boca Chica.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah. So moving to the port and ship channel,
Which port?
port of Corpus Christi.
Okay.
I didn't even include the one down there.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have any thoughts on them? I guess since I really
No, it's just two different ports. Corpus Christi is basically a lot of energy. We're the number one exporter of crude oil in the U.S., third in the world. So it is the energy port of the Americas. That's what they call it. Brownsville port is a little bit different. They do a lot of steel. They cut ships. They've been decommissioned. They cut them apart, and it's a lot of oil, steel.
Okay.
There's a lot of trade. There's some energy now. They're building an LNG facility over there next decade. So that's a new thing that is going to be coming over there. So energy is going to be included over there with LNG. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. What does this district need from federal representatives to protect their jobs?
Well, you gotta protect first of all our military bases. That's extremely important. We had a debate in Cameron County a few weeks ago, and they asked all the candidates about committee assignments. Where would you like to be in a committee and all of that? No one mentioned Armed Services Committee.
Oh.
I was the only one who mentioned Armed Services Committee. That's why the importance of having someone from Nueces County, because you understand the value that the Kingsville base and the Corpus Christi base bring to the area, to the region. It's such a strong economic driver for our region. And if you're not careful, you can lose those bases, and you don't want that.
Wow.
So the bases are extremely important, helping our farmers, man. Our farming is, and ranching is extremely big here as well. From Nueces all the way to Cameroon. There's a lot of farmland.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You gotta help the farm industry as well.
Yeah. So what's some of the things? Because I never really thought about that either. I mean,
About what? The
the
basis?
farmers,
Oh,
like
yes.
what's some of the ways that they would need, a representative for them? Like, what would they need, from?
So it's just legislation to protect their products. I think there was some legislation that happened back in, I think, 2018, but I think it was with cotton, but then so much was supposed to be provided and supplied, and China was supposed to do something else, but China is not complying.
Oh, wow.
So that's affecting our farmers over here.
Oh, sure.
And they were supposed to get so much cotton from here, and they're not doing it. They're getting it from Brazil.
Somewhere else.
So what's happening to our cotton? We're just producing it but not selling it because China decided to go somewhere else.
No, so crazy, man.
You know,
Yeah, so there's 29 million in federal earmarks pending on for the ship channel maintenance port here. Michael Cloud is fighting for that. What would you fight for?
definitely. The port is extremely important for our region here. It's such a strong economic driver, so you gotta make sure it's also protected and has the funding needed to advance what their mission as well. So that's important to protect the port as well as the bases.
Nice.
And I know that the bases are looking for some other stuff, diversified what they do. There's conversation with Congressman Cloud's office regarding Coast Guard. Coast Guard is looking for a new boot camp training facility in the U.S. It could be Corpus Christi.
Wow.
Do you guys have the space for that? It's so many recruits per year and all of that. So they want to make sure. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be other bases fighting for that.
Yeah.
To bring that aspect to their bases.
Wow.
Hopefully, Corpus has a shot at that.
Nice. So talking about the Naval Air Station here in Corpus, the Naval Air Station in Corpus Christi and the Army Depot are major employers here.
Yes.
What's your plan to protect those jobs and fight for federal defense dollars?
Yeah, and that comes from usually, being in Armed Services Committee, having that understanding and what's happening behind it, and getting projects on that list. There's a list that they come out every year, and if your project is not on the list, it's not going to get funded. That's the reality of things. But having been in the Armed Services Committee helps a lot.
Right.
Appropriations as well, but is making sure you vote for NDAA. That's the thing about NDAA. If you have a base in your district, you have to vote for that, because whenever they do BRAC,
What's that?
BRAC is a base realignment and closure. Whenever they close some bases,
Okay. So whenever they do that?
whenever they do that, they look, okay, which members that have a military base have voted against NDAA,
Oh,
the National Defense Authorization Act. If you have voted against your NDAA, they probably want to put you on the list.
Oh,
Because if you don't care for your base to provide money for funding for the military,
Oh, yeah.
why do we keep your base? So they look at that. And I learned that, I think,
Well, you spent 12 years working for
Yeah.
Congressman. Did you ever work on a military base issue, and what did you learn from that?
I usually made the connections for the member. Every time there was a change of command, one of the first things I did was always establish a meeting with a new commander, either Sinatra, NAS Corpus Christi, or CCAT.
Wow.
Because those are the three commanders in Corpus Christi, and have a meeting with the congressman. So they first of all, introductions, who they are, get to know each other, and hey, what are the needs? Usually all those issues with the bases are not handled through the district. It usually needs legislation out of DC.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
Wow.
because
Direct
it has to
from the
be
source.
on a bill. It has to be needs to be some language on specific bills, especially NDAA.
Oh, wow.
So and you gotta get it through a process and get it approved to appear on the language.
Wow.
No, it's
So what, you work with lawyers in that case to get the wording? Is that what you're talking about? Like the wording, like certain.
Well, that's in DC.
Okay.
This is what they need, and are usually in DC you have a legislative director, legislative assistants, your chief of staff, and in every legislative director or assistant, they have a portfolio. These are the agencies that you cover. Everybody has different piece of the pie.
Okay.
Whoever's in charge of military, okay, you gotta get very well versed on what the Corpus Christi needs, the CCAT or the base, and make sure it gets on the language. And then you work with the committee pertaining to that Armed Services Committee. Hey, can we include this language?
Oh,
You know, no, it's a lot in DC how to get things on
wow.
on
gotta know what
a
you're
bill.
doing. Definitely got to know what you're doing for sure.
You,
There's a lot of moving parts.
experience helps a lot.
Holy smokes, man. So next we're moving to affordable housing crisis.
Yes.
There's over 30,000 people in the Section 8 waiting list in Corpus Christi. What times are 7 and 10 years? Wait times, sorry, are 7 and 10 years. What's the federal role in fixing that?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. It's a huge wait list, and I know it's administered through the state, basically. You know, I know there's HUD oversees the whole thing, but that's administered to the state on housing, and then the state allocates that to the local entities, cities specifically. That they need to be probably more opportunities to have more buildings, but you gotta make sure it's done the right way.
Yeah.
Because there were some issues here with our housing authority where all of a sudden, because it affects the city whether you like it or not, because they come out of the rolls of the property taxes, so you affect somehow whenever you remove that. And I think there were some issues with the city of Brownsville, the city of Corpus Christi, when they bought these high-end apartment complexes that were paying a lot of property taxes. All of a sudden you take them off the rolls because now it's housing, and then that affects the property values and how much income, how much revenue the county gets.
Wow.
So it's a delicate balance.
Yeah, I'm not sure. How does
And there's a lot of nonprofits doing work on that as well. You know, I remember, what was his name? Dan Brown. He was working with local people here in Corpus Christi to build small houses, very economically for people that needed some homes. You know, because that's a big issue. Affordability of a home is a big issue in Corpus Christi.
Housing prices are up like 96% in a decade. Working families can't afford to live where they work. What do you do about that?
Oof, man.
I mean, it's affecting me like everybody.
Everybody, man. Everybody's affected by it. It just keeping prices down, but it goes a lot to keeping prices down. You know, the home builders, they're taking a hit because they require a lot of labor to build their houses, to do it in a timely manner, because the longer you wait, the more expensive it gets because prices keep going up. So they need labor to do that, and I think a good solution to that is it's offering good, more strict visas or guest worker visa for people that come and help in those industries like farming, H1A or H1B, to help builders, you know, home builders, industry builders, construction, because they need personnel to do that. Because the longer it takes, it's more expensive, so the prices keep going up and up and up, and then it takes months before the home can be delivered. So that affects a lot. It's a domino effect.
Oh shoot, domino effect. So I guess there's two more issues of fentanyl and cartel activity. You lead with your, let's see, where am I at? Sorry, here 10. A Harlingen man was just convicted of moving 2 million lethal doses of fentanyl through this area. What's your plan to address cartel activity in South Texas?
Well, one of them is making sure our border is secure. Honestly, providing the technology that Border Patrol needs and that CBP needs at the port of entries to detect and identify what's coming through. You know, usually through the port of entry, the Customs and Border Protection, they only inspect about 10% of all entries. They don't inspect every single vehicle.
Yeah.
They have very sophisticated systems. I don't want to get into that because I don't know if there's some secrets. I learned it when I was with in Congress, that I visited the ports of entry, that how they tie when someone's coming through the port of entry, when they read the license plates, and all of a sudden it appears a lot of the connections that license plate is connected to.
Wow.
And then that raises questions, or like, oh, there's no concern, so come on.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of that. So providing our CBP and border patrol agents with the technology and the personnel to make sure nothing gets through, because that's extremely important. Because cartels are, they will find ways to get it through, either through tunnels or many other ways.
Yeah,
Cargo, you name it.
Yeah, some 80% of people convicted of fentanyl trafficking are U.S. citizens coming through legal ports of entry. How do you change how you think about border security, or even border security in general, regarding that?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the same thing. Have the technology where.
That's huge technology. For
Yeah,
sure.
because in a system, once a car is coming through the port of entry, they will read the license plates. If you have your passport or your something where it has a chip, it will read it through. You don't have to do anything, just because there's a sensor on your left side, and it will read any chip inside that vehicle that has your identity, like your passport or your passport card.
Okay.
It will read it, and it will appear to the person on the booth who you are. If you have any convictions, if you have any criminal activity, it will appear all of that in there. So if there's any connections, I'm pretty sure it's connected to NCIC, National Crime Investigation Center. So there's a lot of things how to stop that. So, but it's the technology. I think a lot of it is going to be technology, and of course manpower on not port of entry, but mainly on the border. That is wide open. You need the personnel there.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Cartels are now a designated terrorist organization. What does that mean for how we fight them, and what resources does the district need? Well, you just mentioned technology.
Yeah, the technology, personnel,
manpower.
Manpower is going to be always the same.
Yeah, right on. So
they have cameras. They have. I've seen how far those cameras can see, and it's miles. People, you see the camera here, but they're not looking in the next 30 meters down. They're looking 2-3 miles down the road, and you have no idea. You don't even see the camera.
Yeah, great. So I guess we're getting into, let me see, 10, 11, faith, immigration, and identity. So you lead with faith in your campaign.
Yeah.
How does that translate into actual votes?
I think my faith, how it translates, is integrity, having a good character. I think that's what I've been pushing. That do you have the integrity to do what's right when it matters? And I know that I keep pounding on the same thing with the signs, but it's a small thing. And when I was talking with a pastor, he told me, yeah, but I don't care about the signs. That's a small thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but what tells me that you're not gonna do insider training and all of that? Well, if I don't do what's right in the little things, I can assure you I'm not going to do the right things when I can benefit myself a lot of money. So it comes back to character. Do you have the integrity to remain truthful to who you are as a person, to who you are as a son of God? And it goes back to that. You have to remain true to God, because at the end of the day, you respond not only to constituents, but mainly God. God is always watching you.
Does your faith ever tell you to compromise anything? I guess not really, right? When you believe in God,
Well, I don't compromise my values, and that was brought up in that conversation with Pastor. Will you compromise an abortion? No, there's values that I cannot compromise. There's a lot of value. There's a lot of issues that let's say spending, that it's not a moral issue. It could be, but it's just practical. Why are we spending more than we're getting? If we need to stop. There's a lot of issues just like that. There's nothing of the moral issues that can affect or for me to compromise. I think that's what I'm trying to say. There's areas to be able to work together. Yeah, but my values, I cannot compromise my values.
Is there ever tension between like your faith and like your party, if any?
Yes, there could be some. You know,
Immigration policy. You came to Mexico legally. What should happen to people who are here and don't and didn't?
I know that. Oh man, that's been a recent topic of conversation nationwide because of what's happening in Minnesota, and with ICE and everything happening there. What I've been telling people: look, whenever you see law enforcement operations, do not interfere. Please stay away, stay clear. Let them do what they're doing. Whether you agree or not with what they're doing, that's not the point. You don't like what they're doing? Okay, change the law. They cannot change. They're just enforcing. Talk to your member of Congress. Can we change the law on this? And see if that works. See if your member wants to change the law. And good luck in passing it. The thing is that people need to understand about ICE. They're just enforcing what the members of Congress wrote. They're enforcing that law. It passed whenever it passed. If they don't like it, they can change it. But it takes a partisan commitment to change that.
Effort.
But otherwise, the way it's written now, just I can tell people do not interfere with the law enforcement operations.
Is there a difference between enforcement and cruelty?
Oh yeah, there's a difference, big time. And this is there. Every federal agency, they have an office of professional responsibility. Whenever you do something within your duties, but you don't do it professionally, you get in trouble. That's why they have internal affairs.
Oh, sure.
It's the same thing. Is in the federal government is OIG, Office of Inspector General. Any abuse of power that you execute, it comes back to you, and they're always afraid of that because you can lose your career for that.
Yeah.
So they're not intentionally trying to hurt people. I can assure you that. Would there be some bad people? Probably so.
Yeah.
But like everywhere else.
Everywhere else, yeah.
Not everybody's a bad apple. There's always agents and officers trying to do what's right, but there's always a bad apple.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Office of Professional Responsibility keeps them accountable a lot. OIG will investigate them. And so should they be cruel? No. By all means, no. Be respectful. The problem if the people are not complying, they gotta use more force to contain the person and not get hurt. And that's when a lot of issues happen, people not complying.
Yeah. Wow. Identity. You're a naturalized citizen running as a Republican in a majority Hispanic district. What do you want people to know about who you are?
I'm just a regular guy that at the end of the month, I'm looking, okay, how are we going to, do we have enough to feed our family? I'm just a regular guy. I'm not, people have said it and I kind of experienced it, man. This is meant for people that have the means to not to be able to work because they got to go campaign, but I had to go work first and then I can campaign. It's a little bit different. It's more challenging because I'm not out there 100% campaigning because I had to first provide for my family. Yeah. They are my first responsibility. It is first God, then my family, then my job, then then my country, the country and then job.
For sure.
But I'm just a regular guy. Do I know it all? No, I don't. Do I have a good heart to make sure we're represented well? By all means, yes. Yes, and I've shown that throughout my campaign that I am running a clean campaign. I want to change the dynamics, how politics are done in the U.S., not only South Texas, in the U.S. You can win a career, a race without having to go negative, without having to be nasty and demeaning the other candidates. You don't have to do that.
What makes you different from the other candidates in this primary?
Well, I have the experience of working for Congress. I've already helped hundreds and hundreds of people dealing with the federal bureaucracy when I work for Congress. They're gonna, if they get elected, they're gonna start working on that. I already have 12 years doing that.
Wow.
Other candidates have the experience. Mara spent 6 months. Eric hasn't spent time in Congress. He has federal experience, but not congressional experience. You know, yeah, he's experienced, but not this, the same experience.
If you don't win, who should?
Whoever the Lord decides to elect, because the Bible tells me that it is the Lord who establishes government. So it is the Lord who's going to put in people's hearts who to vote for. Because the Bible is, to me, the Bible is the word of God, and it's true.
We're not return void.
Oh, we'll never return a void. So I that is why I have peace on this process, because if it's me, there's nothing anybody else can do to avoid it. Because if God is said, oh yeah, you're going to be the next member, okay, great. There's nothing else anybody can do. But if it's not me, there's nothing I can do to make it happen. That's a reality, you know. So, and I am at peace with that, you know. I'll do my best. I'll try to appeal to the people. This is who I am. I'm just a regular guy that have 12 years of experience in Congress. I handle myself with integrity. Am I perfect? By no means. And there she is. She can tell you, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Am I? You see? No, I'm not. You know, you can ask my daughters. Oh no, Daddy. Oh no. You know, there was a time that I was a hero, but they're getting one of already is a teenager. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So what's something voters should know about you that they probably don't know?
Oh. That's a great question.
It doesn't have to be political. It could just be...
No. It just, I love history. I'm passionate about intelligence. You know, prior to running for Congress, I wanted to work for State Department. I applied several times with Foreign Service to work to be a diplomat.
He has a crazy memory.
Wow.
Yes. She calls me that I have sometimes Rain Man moment.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay. Yes, I can remember things. I can, you know, I can tell you when Reagan got shot. It was March 30th, 1981.
No.
You know, so things like that are like, I don't know why. The Pope John Paul II also, Reagan was March. The Pope was on May 14th.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's the same year, 1981. The Challenger, January 28th,
Yeah.
1986.
Oh, wow.
I can go in,
And it's all history-related stuff.
history. I love that. I love intelligence. I applied for State Department, applied with CIA. I went through some interviews with CIA.
Wow, what was that like? Crazy.
It is different.
Different interview process? Like,
It's just an interview process per se. But it was usually, if you don't come from an Ivy League school, they tell you that, you know, I know people that work there and they say, yeah, if you might have to apply more than once.
Wow.
I said, really? I said, yeah, because this is not your typical job. They want to make sure you're committed to this.
oh, crazy.
And they told me, okay, can you apply next year again? I'm like, okay. But then Cheniere came along, got into Cheniere, like, oh man, you know,
Yeah.
great job. And I'm like, so that was still the itch in my heart for many, many years.
That's cool, man. So, did you learn a lot of this, your work ethic from your parents?
Oh yeah. My dad, you know, owned ranches, and every morning, you know, 5 o'clock he's up already,
Oh, sure.
and he would make some coffee and go to the ranch, and come back by 6:37 with the 20-liter of how do you call those bottles of milk? The aluminum
Like a keg or
of milk, yeah.
sort of type of thing, like a barrel or something.
Yeah, full of milk. And that the worker in El Caporal at the ranch, he would have it ready for him.
Wow.
And just check on things, how things are going. Okay, I'll be back later today.
Did you work with him? Did you work with him like at the ranch or?
Oh, yeah. You know, you got to understand, my dad was born 1912. When I was born, he was 59. So he was a different school, all old school.
No internet.
No internet.
No
and
phone. Just wow.
And he will take, hey, let's go. Let's go work at the ranch. Of course, he will just give us instructions. Do this, do that, do this. I'm like, and you, hey, you do what I tell you to do. And very strict. And but he was a hard worker, worked hard all his life, and he will wake up early every single day.
What was your mother like? Different side of the coin.
Different. Yeah, they were 32 years apart. Different. Well, that's natural of them. They nourish a lot your children.
It's different.
She was always home. My dad worked, my mom stay home, and that's what we decided. Whenever we had our first girl, like she would stay home. She was a high school teacher, and yeah, it was gonna be more limited, but that's how we were raised, and providing a strong foundation. And that's what we want for our girls, and that's what we've been doing. Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah,
honestly, it's not easy. It's tough at the end of the month, but we look at the investment we're doing in our girls. Grow with strong values and
train
all
up
that.
a child and the way they should go.
Amen. Should we benefit with 2 salaries? Yeah, it'd be great, but we have to make it with one, and sometimes it's difficult. And I know a lot of families go through the same. And so I empathize with them. So I understand whenever I make decisions, if I get elected in Washington, I'm going to empathize with all of them because I'm going through the same. Even if you get elected, even if I get elected, this is what people do not understand about members of Congress. Yeah, I have my mortgage here. But what, you're going to D.C., you're going to have to go pay rent over there too. And the rent over there is like $3,000-$4,000 a month. So if you make what is $174,000, you're looking about $14,000 a month before taxes, and then after they remove your taxes, you're probably looking maybe $9,000, and you're paying $4,000 of rent over there, like $2,000 here. That's and then food, gas, everything here, electricity, and same over there, like. It's not gonna be like it's not like you're sad. No, you're not sad. People do not understand that. This is very expensive, extremely expensive.
Right on. Man, well, thanks for coming on the show, Luis.
No, thank you, man. This is great.
It's a good show.
Great
good
conversation.
Show. Yeah, definitely. A lot of stuff I learned. Wow, that's what really kind of why I do this a lot too. I learn stuff.
Good.
From different people, and
we got to be learning every day.
Yeah, definitely.
We got to learn every day. We don't know it all.
Nice. So where can people find you online? Do you have a website?
Yeah, luisbuentello.com.
Okay.
Or electluis.com.
Okay. So those two.
Yeah, electluis.com or social on Facebook, Luis Buentello for Congress.
Luis Buentello. I had trouble saying your name at first.
Buentello.
Buentello. Yes. Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
Luis Buentello for Congress.
Any last words before we go?
Thank you for giving the opportunity to be here. Lito, thank you for the good word over here. I appreciate you, man. And thank you for opening the doors and having me on your show. I really appreciate it, honestly.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Luis Buentello, this is Luis Buentello, everybody. Appreciate you coming through. Episode 105. Y'all heard it. Hard questions, tough questions coming out about the city and stuff. You guys decide. I'm going to put clips of Luis on there so you guys can get a feel for the type of person that he is, which is awesome the way I want it. This is how I want to do the show. Show you guys these candidates. Get to know who they are a little bit. So thanks a lot, you guys, for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks to the producer back there, Maya. See you guys later.